Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where it is all about racing. Today we're going to take a look at two really cool model cars. These are both 2014 Mercedes F1 W05. The Spark model that you see here is that of Lewis Hamilton, and the one in the background is a Mini Champs, that of Nico Rosberg. Now, what is the difference between these? Now, the Spark model I have reviewed before. Quite frankly, it did not do well. I think it got less than like 60 views, which for any model car that I've had is just really, really poor. And this was a beautiful, beautiful car, done the way Spark does it, done the way it should be. Perfect. This Mini Champs, I got to tell you guys, this is the way Mini Champs should do F1. This was part of the Mercedes-Benz dealer collection, so this was not a standard edition Mini Champs car, but that of the Mercedes collection, and they did everything right, from the packaging, from the base to the jewel cover, everything the way that they should. But how do they stack up? Both of these are 1/43 scale. The Spark is a resin model. It's mounted on this wooden base. It's black. It has the slipcase cover, which means you can see both the front and the rear outside of the box. It is Mercedes AMG Petronas themed, and has the typical licensing that you see on the bottom of the base. Now, the Mini Champs model is also 1/43 scale. It does come on a plastic black base. It's in this Mercedes-Benz themed box. Notice it's Mercedes-Benz themed, not particularly team themed, but it does have a really cool picture of the car on the back of the box. It is not a slipcase. It is enclosed. And folks, yes, this is a Mini Champs car. Once you remove the Spark car from the box, that's what it looks like. Just easily lift the jewel cover off, and it's done. Voila, there's your model car. Now, it's a little different with the Mercedes car, and I'm going to pause this for a moment because this case has, as you can see, clips on the side of it that holds the jewel cover down to the base. And once you remove the jewel cover from the car, there is your car. Now notice that this Mini Champs model is not on a black cardboard lined plastic box with that crappy checkerboard finish typically have, and there's no backing on this that is integral to the design of the box. This is how Mini Champs should do Formula 1 scale cars in 1/43 scale. Now, both these cars are remarkably well done. Even looking at them from one side to the Spark to that of the Mini Champs, you are going to notice some minor styling cues in regards to the livery that are a little different. The Spark car is from the Italian GP, and the Mini Champs from the Saison GP, and I hope I got that right. Nico Rosberg in the other car, Lewis Hamilton in this car. This was one of the reasons that I bought this Mini Champs car, because as you know, I do not like Mini Champs in F1. In fact, I virtually hate them. But this was a really cool model. It was a different driver. It was the same car that I have already in Spark. But as you can tell, it is a little bit different. And because it wasn't packaged the way that typical Mini Champs cars are, that was the reason I bought it. And guys, let me tell you something, Mini Champs got it right. Now, one thing you'll immediately notice, the difference between the both cars. The Spark car has the white sidewalls on it. The Mini Champs has yellow. And I'm gonna pull the Mercedes away here. One thing you'll notice too, look at the red markings that you have on the tires, both front and rear. That is just like you would get in 1/18 scale. One thing that you never see in 1/43 scale. It's a small thing, but it's a big thing. The Spark car lacks that nice little touch that the mechanics mark the tires with. Now, as both of these cars are from the 2014 season, the front wings were notoriously freaking awful looking. In fact, they're ugly as hell. The nose looks blunt and crappy, but I do like the styling with the Petronas green on the front of the Spark. I like it even better on the Mini Champs model, and then throw the Petronas logo on it, which you lack on the Spark. And I think you've got a better looking front wing, even though they are designed and styled a little differently. I don't know Formula One well enough to tell you what the differences are, but you can see just the little parts do look differently. I don't know if Mini Champs did it better than Spark, but they certainly did it no worse. Now, looking at the car from front to rear, it looks very, very sharp, very nicely done, as does the Spark car. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, taking a look at the front of the car, you can see a nicely done pitot tube. The aerial, I think, looks really good on the Mini Champs car. Everything looks perfect. The carbon fiber trim is kind of hard to notice on the Mini Champs car. I've really got to pull the camera back for you to see the carbon fiber detail. I don't have to do that as much on the Spark car, but I can't say that it is any better. I do like the white sidewalls as opposed to the yellow on it. I think the aerials and the pitot tube on both cars, and I can for once say that I think the Mini Champs car looks a little more dainty. I think it looks better than does the Spark car, and therefore I really like that. The cockpit looks really, really good. I think the driver figure with the straps on it for a 143 scale car, guys, that is damn sharp. And Nico Rosberg's helmet is just really, really cool. I say the cockpit looks great. On the Spark car, I've got to admit, I don't think the seatbelts look as good. They're certainly not as thick. I think they did a great job on the driver's suit. I don't like Lewis Hamilton's helmet as much as I do that of Nico Rosberg. But I think both cars look really good. I think Mini Champs just did a much better job with the seatbelts than did the Spark car, which looks almost thin and dainty, and I'm pretty sure that's not the way that they are. Now, notice one thing that is different. The Spark car has a small aerial on the right-hand side mirror. The Mini Champs lacks that. That could be just different because of the time of the season and the race they had. Also notice that the blue Petronas markings as they go beside the cockpit is flared out, but it doesn't look, I think, as good as it does on the Spark car. So I give that a little bit to Spark. Now, looking at the air nacelles for the engine, really well done with the Spark. Also well done with the Mini Champs. But notice the Spark, I think the smaller inlets towards the back of it look better than they do and more detailed than they do on the Mini Champs. So I think Spark did a little better job with it than did Mini Champs. Now, looking at the side view of the car, one thing you'll notice that I thought Spark did really, really well, the louvers on the side pod here are really nicely textured. That is not the case with the Mini Champs car, so I give that to Spark. I do prefer the way the finish looks on the cover of the engine with the black going all the way to the back, the Mercedes logo, as opposed to the black and the silver. And that's just a styling thing that I think looks better on the Spark car. As far as the floor of the car, not incredibly unique or different compared to the cars you see today. I think the Mini Champs actually looks a little bit better than it does on the Spark. Just a little bit. Now, the rear of both cars look really, really good. I think the Spark car looks exceptional. I love the wing. I love how the exhaust just juts out of there. I do like the way the wing is designed. I think the supports on it are really cool. You do have the Petronas logo on the inside of the wing on both sides, which I think looks really sharp. I do like the way the Petronas logo looks from the top down as opposed to that on the Mini Champs. It just looks cleaner. The Mini Champs does have some design cues. Notice the little look like hatch covers on both sides of it that you do not have on the Spark model. Also, the Mini Champs model, I believe, has the Petronas logo on the underside of the wing. You lack that on the Spark model. But as I mentioned, you do have the Petronas logos on both insides of the wing. You do not have that on the Mini Champs. And again, that could be just due to the car design. Also notice the exhaust looks a little bit different. It doesn't look as long as it is, and it looks like it's got a cover over it as opposed to it does on the Mini Champs car. And I don't know, again, if that's just a design difference from race to race. One thing I can say that is cool about this as I turn these cars around is you can finally look at a Mini Champs model from the other side, and there's not some big-ass piece of cardboard sitting up here like this. It says Paul's Model Art. It has all the garbage, that you don't want to see on your model car on it. The base is plastic, looks really, really good, clamps in nicely. Presentation-wise, I think both cars look excellent. So in summary, folks, that wraps it up. I think both of these are really, really good-looking cars. I think there are some things that Mini Champs does better than does Spark, and I think there are some things that Spark does better than does Mini Champs. But both, I think, are exceptional-looking cars. I hope you found this interesting. It's rare that I get two cars from the same year, different drivers, one from Mini Champs, one from Spark, and get to show them to you side by side. This was a rare case, and I only bought this Mini Champs car, one, because it was Mercedes-Benz Collector Edition. It meant it doesn't have the crappy base on it that is typical with most Mini Champs cars, and because it was the opposite of the Spark. I thought it would make for a neat comparison, and it really, really did. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you've watched this to the end, I have scheduled this comparison to air when I'm down at Sebring for the 12 hours of Sebring. And hopefully, as this airs, you'll also get a first look at my paddock tour from the Sebring 12-hour. Folks, thanks for watching. See you at Sebring.